This one is really just showing, I think companies are at different levels as far as how they're doing on embracing the neurodiverse. And we start with at the bottom, I mean, you got flat out discriminators. You know, they just plain discriminated against them. Obviously, that's bad. Nobody wants to work there. And when you look at what does a candidate interviewing and how much does the company get out of the people, I call it in the hole. It's a -10. Nobody wants to work for somebody who's a blatant discriminator. You move to the next step up, and I think this is where most of the companies are today. And that's just plain unaware. They just don't know. I mean, they're not blatantly discriminating. They just don't know there's something they should be aware of. And I think that, again, that's where the majority are. And I think we need to get them over the line, and you're the generation that's going to be able to do it because you're bringing the fresh ideas in. It's a whole lot harder to get the ones that are already there to know that, you know, get them to change how they do things. You know, you got your HR systems all set up, you like the way they work, you don't want to change it. You bring in somebody new, they bring in new ideas. So I'm looking for you guys all to bring this one out. So you go up to the next level of just awareness. Even that's a big step forward. At least you're aware that there's this concept. You're aware of different things. You haven't changed policies, you've just created awareness. Then as you move further up, you're really into the, how do you start accommodating these people? You know, how do you make it easier for them to get through the process? And at the top, the ones that are the real, you know, leaders are, how do you go out and actually enable these people to bring the innovation that your company wants? So how do you empower them? And kind of, you know, here I've got a couple of things of, you know, how it works. Awareness side, you know, in the material you had ahead of time, you saw the alien universe where it was the two circles and how they overlap, and you can only communicate in that overlap area because otherwise, you know, they don't understand the opposite sides because it's not within their vision. Recognizing the difference, that's really the biggest thing with awareness, is getting that out, that idea that you can only communicate in the parts that you can agree on. Moving up to accommodating. How about if you give the person ahead of time a map of what the interview process is going to be? It's this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. That helps a huge amount for the person. Takes a lot of stress, pulls that anxiety down. Expect an ND answer. You know, expect a neurodiverse answer. Expect that they're going to say no, that they don't know the program. And know that you should ask at that point, well, do you know any similar programs? So you're kind of helping them a little bit because you know the way they're tending to answer. And I mean, this idea of 3 degrees of interest, which we might make it through or we might not, we'll see. Which really just comes down to there's 3 levels of information, and the problem is if you don't get them to understand the level that you want them to talk at, you're going to be talking at 2 different levels and not have communication. Then in empowering, those top companies, they're doing things like online job fairs, task-based interviews. You know, give somebody a simple task of what it is that you're wanting them to do and see how they do it instead of doing a verbal, you know, quiz-em interview. And then some of them are even implementing workshop type interviews. They bring them in, they teach them a technology that's related to what they need them to do, but easy to teach in a short time. And then they see how they do it. And that is the interview right there. It's a full hands-on involving actually technology. And that starts enabling people and empowering them.